So when your client has a problem, where is the attention not? On the solution. So imagine this is a problem, this point, P from problem. And this is all the possibilities. With other words, in the universe, to start talking about something really specific, there is only one universe. That's pretty easy to understand, right? In all the universes we have, in the universe. Now, in the universe, you have an infinite amount of possibilities. Start to consider how many thoughts you can think. That's right. And a client is choosing out of the infinite amount of possibilities a worry and focus all the attention on it. And sometimes to the extent they get stuck in it. That's this point as an illustration. Or a prison. Or I can't see no way out, I feel stuck. I have a problem. So imagine the client is inside of this problem energy. And in the meantime, all the other possibilities still exist. Right? In the universe. Beyond worries. What else is there that feels better?
Calmness.
That's right. Calmness. Calmness. So, one of our jobs being conversational master hypnotists is to move the attention out of the problem. Maybe we can move it in a resource and out of a problem, or maybe we can look beyond the problem and find out what's there. So out of all the possibilities in the universe, sometimes a client focuses on a problem, whatever that is, and then your job is to guide the attention somewhere else. You see my point? You are able to guide the attention where the problem is not. Which means, the more you become aware of all the possibilities that's not the problem, you're on the right track. Aside from the problem, there are many solutions. That's not the problem. Which means, one part of you really understands what I'm saying. So when you are in a problem, you're not in the solution. So how can you bend a mind with language? With mind-bending language.
That's set of cards.
Yes. So everybody run to the table, buy the cards.
You did that just for you.
Pretty soon.
Putting their attention anywhere other than...
Well, only if you really want to be good at this stuff. And be real professional. And make all your sessions smoothly. Then buy the cards. You had a question?
Yes.
Comment? I heard a sound. I couldn't locate it.
To answer your question from the sonar, is to put the person's attention anywhere other than the problem.
That's right. That's exactly it. Easy, huh?
Is that to find the solution, or is that just to not have them think of the problem?
Could be both. Yeah.
Although
Depending on what you're trying to aim in the conversation. Yep. No. Hallucination. Oh, was it that you had a question?
Well, I wish you did, but then I haven't.
No, go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah.
Go for it. Oh, I sort of bounced off.
Articulated enough.
Okay.
You were mentioning that the solution resides in the problem or somehow together. So you wouldn't necessarily want to or need to go too far away from it.
No. You don't have to know exactly where the solution is before you solve it completely. And sometimes you don't know, most of the times we don't know what the solution is, let alone where it is, or who they are becoming when they have it. Is that an answer to your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
My head is buzzing with this.
Very good.
So-
How did you know to do that?
So as I'm understanding the problem, the solution is within the problem, and we're not aware of it. And as we
Well, the solution is attached
attach
to the problem, but it could be outside of the problem. Huh?
But our problem is a problem because we don't have the resources, internal and external, or would be awareness. But what I'm understanding now is that sometimes it can be enough to just expand our thinking and awareness consciously and or unconsciously beyond the problem, and the unconscious mind will do it by itself, so it can happen outside of our awareness.
Correct.
And I don't even know what I just said.
Very good. It means you're a master. Because something...
Am I on the right track?
Yes.
Am I part of this?
Yeah, because basically what you're saying is this: what else is there beyond this? And you don't have to do it consciously. And you say, that's right, and become aware of how much more there is now that you weren't aware of before you expanded your mind.
And that's a big difference between this kind of work and, say, talk therapy, where it's all conscious and you need to know the problem and you need to know the
Yeah.
solution and you need to tie the
Correct.
two together,
Yes.
all very consciously.
Yeah. So what kind of words can you use to help the client think differently or expand their mind or move beyond something or think outside of the box? Yep.
Perhaps I wonder if you recognize that since you have X, you realize that there has to be a Y or a Z that accompanies it. Because you're coming to me saying that X is here, and I have this innate need to get beyond X.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good frame. That is planting the seeds for healing or solving. Great. Good, so you want to have some power words for mind-bending language?
Yes,
So your brain can grab onto something.
please.
You're not getting them. No. Stay in the void long enough to find them. So, for example, when a client is saying, "I have fear," now let's make it better. "I am afraid." Yeah? They are here. So let's say "I'm afraid" is an example of this. You could say many things. Basically, you could ask questions. You can also do hypnotic blitz, working with symbols. But now we are into the mind-bending language. So what is a question you could ask when somebody says to you, "I am afraid," so that that question guides their attention somewhere else?
What's everything that you're not afraid of?
Pardon?
What's everything other than what you've been afraid that
Yes.
you are?
What's everything other that you are afraid of? You see, that spins them away from fear. That makes them consider something outside of this in the quantum field or outside of the box or whatever words you put on. You see, that question, what else is there that's not fear, is another example of what you might ask. So start to consider another question you can ask that their attention is moving.
Or when you're not afraid?
Who are you when you're not afraid? Yes.
Or what are times?
Then you are asked on identity. Huh?
What are times that you have not been afraid?
What are times that you've not been afraid? Correct. Then you're in a context.
How do you know you're afraid?
That's a great question. However, it asks information about this. You see, how do you know you're afraid is a strategy elicitation. Or basically you want to know how they do it. And it's a great question because you can change the strategy and then they change their outcome.
Not applicable here, though.
It's not necessarily moving them away from the fear. Although it is mind-bending in a certain way. What do you think? What else? Yep.
Can you just pick a different emotion entirely and say, well, when are you happy? Or what makes you happy? And switch it so they're not even thinking about it.
Yeah, that's definitely moving the attention away from fear. Yep. And when you want to do that, such a, let's say, if you want them to follow you, without them feeling, well, you're not really understanding me because it's not about not me being happy, I'm afraid, right? Is to pace them first, to say, I understand that you are afraid. Let me ask you a question, and then ask the question. So to acknowledge just a little bit, or acknowledge enough what they just said, so they will follow you because they know you were listening. You could ask it also straight away, but sometimes you risk then they start to resist.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
When's the last time you felt courageous?
that's correct. That is basically similar to the questions already. Very good.
What part of I is not afraid?
Pardon?
What part of I, or what part of you is not afraid?
What part of you is not afraid? Very good. Yeah. That makes them consider something.